අතන මෙතන හැමතැනම තියෙන සේවාවන් එක තැනකට ගෙන MySLT app දැන් සියලුම SLT මොබිටෙල් සේවාවන් වලට MySLT app හරහා එකවර පිවිසීමේ හැකියාව. SLT මොබිටෙල් එකම එක සැබඳියාව.
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a very warm welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Savindri Jayawardena. Let's look at the top stories for the day. Cabinet approves a proposal to receive $200 million from ADB for a highways development program. Banking sector has shown a considerable growth despite the risk created by the COVID-19 pandemic, Central Bank says. News in detail. Cabinet of Ministers yesterday approved a proposal to receive $200 million from the Asian Development Bank as the third installment of the agreed sum of $900 million from a highways development program. Cabinet co-spokesman Minister Uday Gammapilla revealed this and several other cabinet decisions at a virtual media briefing this morning. The government of Sri Lanka and the Asian Development Bank has entered into an agreement for obtaining $900 million from that bank for the implementation of the second consolidated highways investment program. It has been planned to renovate and maintain 3,400 kilometers of rural access roads in the eastern, northern, Uva and western provinces and to renovate 340 kilometers of national roads between the rural community and the socio-economic centers in those provinces under the program. The entire program is scheduled to be completed by the 31st of March 2027. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the resolution furnished by the Prime Minister as the Minister of Finance, Mahinda Rajapaksa, to obtain an amount of $200 million, which is the third installment of the agreed sum of $900 million promised for financing the second consolidated highways investment program and enter into the relevant agreement. Meanwhile, Cabinet of Ministers also approved a proposal to an exemption of cess tax. Accordingly, any goods imported for any project with an investment of $50 million or more, which will be operational on or after the 6th of March 2019, are exempt from cess tax prior to the commencement of commercial activities on that project. However, there are no provisions for cess exemption for such projects as some large-scale projects will commence commercial operations in stages before the completion of the entire project. Therefore, the proposal tabled by the Minister of Trade to submit the aforesaid Gazette notification to the Parliament for approval on the 17th of March this year, imposing provisions for exemption of such projects from cess tax was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. Government halted all state functions and also ordered to stop any kind of private functions and gatherings. President Media Unit in a statement said that the ruling to ban any kind of gatherings will be applicable to both state and private sector as well as the citizens of the country. Sri Lanka has confirmed more than 2,000 new cases over the past 2 days after a suspected new COVID-19 variant began to spread around the country, killing younger patients and filling up intensive care units. According to the release by the Government Information Department last midnight, 26 COVID-19 related deaths were reported yesterday, climbing the death total to 827. The death toll also includes a death of a 3-month-old infant from Kandy. Authorities have urged the public to stay at home and to avoid travel as much as possible. Meanwhile, the authorities also decided to bring restrictions on inter-provincial travel with effect from midnight today till the 30th of May. Accordingly, National Transport Commission this morning announced that the inter-provincial private bus service will be suspended until the end of this month, respecting the regulations issued by the health authorities. At the meantime, health authorities have decided to increase the number of PCR tests to be conducted for a day to 30,000 from 24,000. Officials also confirmed that a total of 20,710 Sri Lankans have been administered with the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine as of last evening. According to the epidemiology unit, a total of 17,541 Sri Lankans were vaccinated yesterday alone. Administering the Sinopharm vaccine to Sri Lankans commenced on the 8th of May following the approval granted by the National Medicines Regulatory Authority. Clarifying further over the government's decision on bringing restrictions on the inter-provincial travel, Minister Uday Gammanpila said that the decision is still in the experimental level and more details will be informed later.
It is in force until 30th of May. The details of these restrictions will be released soon. The government policy is that movement will be restricted without causing any inconvenience to the essential services. So essential services, then export-oriented industries, agriculture, fisheries. So these sectors will be operative, although we have already imposed these restrictions. We have not discussed and decided in detail how we are going to implement. It's at the experimental stage at the moment. However, in most of the cases, the authorities would consider case by case and decide whether that activity is an essential service or not, rather than making a blanket policy for entire country and entire sectors at once.
Stay tuned for more news right after this break.
මේ පහසුව පෙන්වන එක විදිය. MySLT app කියන්නේ පහසුවට කියන තවත් නම. අතන මෙතන හැමතැනම තියෙන සේවාවන් එක තැනකට ගෙන MySLT app. දැන් සියලුම SLT මොබිටෙල් සේවාවන් වලට MySLT app හරහා එකවර පිවිසීමේ හැකියාව. SLT මොබිටෙල් එකම එක සැබඳියාව.
වැඩි දෙනෙකුට තෑගි දෙන්න අපි සූදානම්. සුපිරි වාසනා. තෑගි රටා වෙනස් වුණා. තෑගි වැඩි වුණා. දිනන්න පහසු වුණා. අපි අලුත් වෙලා. සුපිරි වාසනා හඹා ගියොත් දිනුම්.
NLV ජීවිතයේ සේනයට වාසනාවේ ආශිර්වාදය.
laptop දෙන සර්ප්‍රයිස් එක ආවනේ මේක තමයි නියම දිනම මේ රටේ එන්න මල්ලි මේ laptop fiesta SLT mobitel නම් වින්දමා reload සා bill payment දාලා ගන්න laptop එක දිනමු අපි දැන් නෙක් වෙලා
SLT මොබිටෙල් මොබයිල් සහ හෝම් පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට රීඩෝඩ් හෝ බිල් ගෙවන සෑම රුපියල් 50කටම ලැප්ටොප් දිනා ගන්න අවස්ථාවක්.
SLT mobitel සමගින් දිනන්න.
SLT මොබිටෙල් එකම එක සැබඳියාව.
Welcome back after the break. Economic Research Director of the Central Bank, Dr. C. Amarasekara, said that the banking sector has shown a considerable and admirable growth despite the risk created by the COVID-19 pandemic throughout the year 2020. Dr. Amarasekara made these explanations participating at a webinar organized by the Central Bank titled State of the Sri Lankan Economy Challenges and Outlook as reflected in the Annual Report 2020 yesterday.
The banking sector exhibited the moderate growth in 2020. Saw year-on-year growth in loans and advances at 11.9%, year-on-year growth in investments at 40%, year-on-year growth in deposits at 21.6%. Also, the gross NPL ratio increased to 4.9% in 2020 compared to 4.7% in the previous year, and the capital adequacy ratio declined to 16.5% from the levels observed in the previous year. And the performance of the LFCs and SLCs sector deteriorated in 2020. We know that there are several very well managed finance companies, but overall, if you take the sector as a whole, we observed some reflected through the decline in the asset base, credit and deposits and profitability, and increase in NPLs during the year.
In the meantime, Central Bank today announced that they will not be issuing direct orders to banks or financial institutions on how to deal with the customers who do not settle their loan or leasing premiums in a possible lockdown situation. Central Bank Deputy Governor J.Y.P. Fernando said that the Central Bank expected the relevant banks to know their customers and work accordingly.
අවස්ථානයේ ණය ගෙවුවේ නැත්නම්ත් බැංකු වලට බෑ පොලී ගෙවලා මේ ඩිපොසිටර්ස්ලාගේ තත්ත්වය ආරක්ෂා කරගන්න. එතකොට කොහොම හරි පමා වෙලා හරි ණය අය කරගන්න හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා කියන්නේ ඒක බැංකුවටත් පහසුවක්. යම්කිසි පහසුවක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් අර ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ද්‍රවශීලතාවයේ සම්බන්ධ ප්‍රශ්නයක් පොත් ඇති වෙන නිසා ඒකත් එක්ක අපි ඒක සමබරව ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් අපි අභ්‍යන්තරයේ මේ ගැන කතා කරනවා. මම හිතන්නේ බැංකුත් මේ වෙනකොට ඒ ගැන කතා කරනවා. බැංකුවල ගනුදෙනු කටයුතුනුත් අපිටත් කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. බැංකුවලටත් කතා කරනවා. මම දකින්නේ බැංකුව මේ වෙලාවේ මැදිහත් වෙලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ කස්ටමර්ස්ලාගේ මොකද දැන් මේ වෙනකොට හැම කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් ගැනම හොඳ අවබෝධයක් බැංකුවට තියෙනවා. මොකද පහුගිය අවුරුද්දේ කටයුතු වෙච්ච විදිය මොකද දෙපාරක් ඇප්ලිකේෂන්ස් දීලා තමයි මේ ණය දික් කරන කාලේ සහනය ලබාගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා මම හිතන්නේ ડોક્ટર හරිස්චන්ද්‍ර කියන්න තියෙන්නේ යම්කිසි සහනයක් දෙන්න ගොඩක් වෙලාවට සිද්ධ වෙනවා. මොකද දැන් සාමාන්‍ය ආර්ථික කටයුතු සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැතිකොට ව්‍යාපාර කටයුතු පොඩ්ඩක් එනිහිටීමක් ඇති වෙලා තියෙන තැන. නමුත් ණය ගත්තාගේ පැත්තනොත් අපේ තොරතුරු බැලුවම අපිට පේනවා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ණය ගෙවාගෙන ආපු අය සැමදිස්සෙම උත්සාහ කරලා තියෙනවා යම්කිසි විදිහකට ණය ගෙවන්න. ඉතින් ඒක මම හිතන්නේ ඊටම ධනාත්මකයි බැංකුවල කටයුතු පැත්තෙන් බලනකොට.
Sri Lanka's rupee was quoted between 198 rupees to 202 rupees against the US dollar in the spot market yesterday. Stocks closed 1.45% lower on Monday, ending a two-week rally with index-heavy LOC-LC holdings, Brown's Investments and Distilleries pushing the ASPI down. The index at the Colombo Stock Exchange opened higher, however, after midday trading the index slipped. All share price index fell 104.79 points to close at 7,137.21. The S&P SL20 index of more liquid stocks fell 1.19% or 34.33 points to close at 2,841.31. Turnover was 2.4 billion rupees with 28 stocks gaining and 148 falling. LOLC holdings fell 10 rupees and 25 cents to close at 318 rupees, contributing most for ASPI's fall. Brown and Company fell 6 rupees and 75 cents to close at 178 rupees and 25 cents a share, and Brown's Investments fell 30 cents to close at 6 rupees and 50 cents a share. LOLC Finance closed 20 cents down at 6 rupees and 20 cents. Haley's PLC also closed 2 rupees and 40 cents down at 77 rupees and 20 cents, with key subsidiaries dipped products falling 2 rupees and 10 cents to close at 54 rupees and 50 cents, and Heka PLC down 3 rupees and 75 cents to close at 102 rupees. John Keel's Holdings closed 25 cents up at 135 rupees and 25 cents a share, and Valuable One fell 2 rupees and 30 cents to close at 53 rupees and 70 cents a share. The Kingsbury closed flat at 6 rupees, and Singer Sri Lanka closed 50 cents down at 18 rupees and 40 cents. Expo Lanka Holdings fell 1 rupee and 40 cents to close at 44 rupees and 20 cents a share, and Melstar Corp Holdings closed 40 cents down at 44 rupees and 50 cents a share. Commercial Bank of Ceylon, Hatton National Bank, Sampath Bank and DFCZ Bank all showed downward trend during the day. Ceylon Bank closed flat at 50 rupees, and Pan Asia Banking Corporation also closed 70 cents down at 15 rupees and 30 cents. Stay tuned for more news right after this break.
මේ පහසුව පෙන්වන එක විදියක්. MySLT app කියන්නේ පහසුවට කියන තවත් නම. අතන මෙතන හැමතැනම තියෙන සේවාවන් එක තැනකට ගෙන MySLT app. දැන් සියලුම SLT මොබිටෙල් සේවාවන් වලට MySLT app හරහා එකවර පිවිසීමේ හැකියාව. SLT මොබිටෙල් එකම එක සැබඳියාව.
වැඩි දෙනෙකුට තෑගි දෙන්න අපි සූදානම්. සුපිරි වාසනා. තෑගි රටා වෙනස් වුණා. තෑගි වැඩි වුණා. දිනන්න පහසු වුණා. අපි අලුත් වෙලා. සුපිරි වාසනා හඹාගියොත් දිනුම්.
NLB ජීවිතයේ සේනයට වාසනාවේ ආශිර්වාදය.
highlights, updates and opinions. This is Wake Up With Us.
දැන් සියලුම SLT මොබිටෙල් සේවාවන් වලට MySLT app හරහා එකවර පිවිසීමේ හැකියාව.
ලැප්ටොප් දෙන සර්ප්‍රයිස් එක ආවනේ. මේක තමයි නියම දිනුම මේ රටේ. එන්න මල්ලි මේ ලැප්ටොප් Fiesta. SLT මොබිටෙල් නම් වින්දමා. රීලෝඩ් සා බිල් පේමන්ට් දාලා ගන්න ලැප්ටොප් එක දිනමු අපි ගන්නෙක් වෙලා.
SLT මොබිටෙල් මොබයිල් සහ හෝම් පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට රීඩෝඩ් හෝ බිල් ගෙවන සෑම රුපියල් 50කටම ලැප්ටොප් දිනා ගන්න අවස්ථාවක්.
SLT මොබිටෙල් සමගින් දිනන්න.
SLT මොබිටෙල් එකම එක සැබඳියාව.
Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all share price index gained 7.58 points to close at 7,143.38 and the S&P SL20 gained 5.21 points to close at 2,843.40. The turnover was 1.16 billion rupees and over 84 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.